Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another. This show kind of hits home a little bit. I've known Jason now for close to 15, 20 years. And when you see guys out there doing good work, I knew you'd been working in the industry, roofing and construction for quite a while. And then I saw something popped up, and you started your own company. It's been almost a year now, getting close to a year. Yeah. And with 15 years doing this yourself almost, right?
12 years, yeah.
12 years doing this yourself. I was just like, I think we need to have Jason on the show. Tell us what it's like to go through all of what you do when you're working for somebody, and then what big leap you take to start your own company.
You know, it's a risk, obviously, like anything else in life. But when you've done it for so long, you know, the timing was right. You know, I went to Florida for 5 years and learned quite a bit. And after that, when I came back, I thought, it was time. So it had to happen. The timing was perfect, and that's pretty much why I started it.
Well, that's what I talk about. Timing is everything. It is a matter of, and this just seems so true. So why did it happen when it did? Now, why didn't I get this before? It could have been, because
Exactly.
that's not the way it was supposed to. It wouldn't have worked out as well. It wouldn't have put you in the position when you were ready for it.
Exactly.
So here you are, and already got some great reviews, some great work you've done. We're going to show everybody your website. Quick shout out to everybody here as we, hey, take a look on our TV walls here. I did some color matching here. We've got 4 Canons and then one Insta 360, they call it. That's a 4K camera. Those are 2K, and got to match them right. So look at it, looking good. Colors are matching here. Get those bright colors. But Carroll House Furniture, because you like nice things. Where do you like nice things? I gotta have those nice things in my house, right? So in your little castle. So with that, we're proud to have. I saw Brooke the other night at a big Christmas party, and he and Amy, his sister, are great sponsors. Really appreciate what they do. Also, give it up for USA Mortgage, the Flowers team. These guys have really come through a number of times personally with me and my clients. I've got my license. We've got all our NMLS numbers. You'll see that on the show as we go here. But I got my license, and boy, I landed in a great place working with USA Mortgage, the Flowers team. Steve and I go way back. Now, Emily, they have expertise and some real good work they do. But with that, let's put up on the TV walls Jason's website. Looking good, man. I was like, well, now we get to show off a little bit here, because here's what a good looking website looks like. Looks good here on the cameras with what we've got in here. We're kind of bleached out. We got bright lights in the studio, but it looks good on camera.
It's a little bright in here, yeah.
Future's so bright. So yeah, I mean, real excited when I saw that you and I reached out to you, and I said, come on, be on the show. Let's talk about what this is.
I didn't even think about it. I just said, all right, let's do it.
Yeah, I didn't go through much explanation. You were just like, we've been buddies for a long time, so
absolutely.
We take care of each other. But yeah, so you decided to take the leap. We already kind of talked about that. What would you say? Is there a path? It wasn't a real path for you, but if somebody's offered you an opportunity, you're like, I think I want to change a little bit. I think I want to try that.
Yeah, I was, for the longest time, I was in a cubicle on a cell phone, selling cell phones, and just, job after job. Didn't really know what I wanted to do. And I got a lot of experience over the phone in sales. And so I had an opportunity. Someone asked me, hey, come sell some roofs in Chicago. And I was like, what's a big risk there, actually,
Right.
So I thought about it for a day, and I was like, all right, let's do it. So I took the risk, and, everything worked out very well.
Never look back.
Never looked back.
Well, that's the key to the success that most people have. It's just something they have to take that leap. When you say, I did the same thing. I was doing real well as a sales guy, and I said, all right, I've got an idea. I'm kind of soft. I'm like, I got things to talk about. They're like, nah. I said, I'm gonna go do it myself. Good work to you, man. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Tell me, was there any particular? Tell me about your youth. We didn't get into this a whole lot, but as a kid, what did you really enjoy? And is there any way any of that kind of tied into what you were doing here?
It didn't actually. I played a lot of sports. I played every sports, everything. But funny thing is, I don't watch sports anymore. I
Been there, played that.
I did it all. So now I'm more of. I like to work. I like to get out there and be productive. Productive is a good feeling. Being productive is just a really good feeling for me.
Yeah, well, there you go. And most of us have so much. There's only so many hours in the day for everybody. And so then, how do you find the most productive use of what you're doing? So we got another question down here. I'm going to ask him, and what his hobby is. He's got a really interesting hobby. Pretty cool. We'll talk about that a little bit as we go. But Jason's a great guy here. It's cool to have somebody on our show talking about how you really have such success with a business. He's already got great reviews and a lot of stuff going for a lot of people that are telling him how much they love what he's doing. So you've been in the industry now. When was your first year in the industry, you would say?
2013.
Okay.
I believe, yeah, 2013.
So if you're taking 13, you got to count that. It's like counting 0 because we're 2023.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you're coming up your 12th, 13th year.
Yeah.
Do the math on all that. 11, 12, 13.
Something like
a long
that,
time.
yeah.
Anything over a decade, you become an expert. And so
I don't keep count. I just go.
Yeah, well, with the hobby you have, that makes sense why you've done so well. So, like I said, somebody who spends extra time studying, we're improving. What do you do for fun? He's like, I work. I go out there, dynamite. We'll talk more about why you said that. Very cool. And what it is. So, what is it that really fuels your passion when it comes down to it? You talked about it a little bit in the pregame prep. We talked about what do you love about what you do?
You know, I like to basically the gratification after putting someone's roof on and getting everything done for them, because a lot of people don't know how to handle these, you know, with the insurance carriers. So it's gratifying when I see an awesome roof that my crew put on, and I helped my customer get everything done, and you know they were just kind of in the dark. So I guide them, and it's a good feeling.
Well, yeah, it's a tedious task to imagine. I mean, I know I feel kind of fortunate. I had that tornado came back through 2013, probably about the time, and somebody's chimney ended up in my front yard. I'm like, where did this come from? But it was pretty heavy duty storm. And then I'm like, if I didn't know what I was doing, even when I got into it, I was just like, I don't know for sure. And how's this covered? And what are they doing here? And one guy wants us to do this, and another company came in and knocking on my door, and I kind of knew them, but I knew the other guys better. And then it's just one big hassle. But if you don't know somebody and you can't trust somebody,
right,
that's where you really have to trust in an expert like yourself. That's where we want to show off your knowledge and your background. What is it you think you bring? Because you've got so much, and you've got a little advantage over a lot of people in that you have a special license related to the industry that makes a difference.
Yeah. So when I was in Florida, I worked 3 different hurricanes. Well, 2 hurricanes in Florida and 1 in New Orleans. And when I was down there, I got my 620 insurance adjuster's license because I thought I was going to work on the insurance side and just do estimates and work for the insurance carriers. And I decided not to, and I actually worked as a public adjuster for Hurricane Ian, which was the latest hurricane. And so I'm licensed in 25 states. I hold that license. It's in Missouri as well. I cannot work a claim and put a roof on, so I'm not like working the claim, but I hold that license though. So and it's an upper hand because I know how the insurance adjusters, their lingo and their verbiage. I know how to talk to them. It just they respect me that I have the license as well. So
yeah, I was gonna say that's something I want to dig into that a little bit more, because as a matter of being the guy who knows exactly, and you said some of these, we won't name any names, but a lot of companies, they just have an adjuster go out there. He's not even certified. He's not licensed. She's not licensed. She just comes out, and because of their training that they did, right, you have gone through the actual process of getting the actual certified license with the state of Missouri. Is that right?
The state of Florida, but it's reciprocal in other states, 25 states. So I took a test. I had to study for a test. It's a course, and if you don't pass a test, you don't get the license. You have to background check and all these things. They go back far background check. So they don't, and even insurance companies here, their adjusters are not licensed like I am. So they just go through a course through their company basically.
Well, that's why I say that to me is a big advantage that you bring to the table, because now you're literally looking at a situation where you know exactly how they're going to go with this. You know exactly what they're trying to do. They work for the insurance company, but you know what they're thinking while they work for that insurance company, so you can make sure and say, hey, wait a minute, this is something I definitely need to make sure that you understand. Here's some damage that they may have overlooked, or something that they say, oh, well, that's not as bad as it may appear. But you combine your background with roofing and the insurance side, you can help these guys to make sure
exactly
your customers are taken care of.
Not to leave any money on the table, basically. You want to get everything that's owed to you.
Yeah, how often I guess the insurance company isn't too often in the business of saying, hey, here's an extra $15,000.
Right.
Do whatever you want with it, right? They're trying to cut and save as much as they can.
Absolutely.
What are some of the issues when you're going through that? When you used to do the other side of this, you were like, oh, well, see, we could. I'll tell you one that happened to me. You tell me what you think of this. The guy looked at me and he goes, there's a little mark. I've got the columns, if you've seen my house. I've got these columns. There was a little mark. He goes, I'm going to cover that column. We're good? And then he breathes through real quick, and he's like, and we're going to cover these 2 sides of the house. And then it's all siding, right?
Right.
So he goes, I talked to somebody else, they're like, they should have gotten you all for it. He says, well, it's all white siding, so it doesn't fade color-wise. And I had somebody else point out to me, they're like, no, it still gets a powdery chalk substance on the side of it. So he just sweet talked you, snuck in,
Yeah.
only covering half of the house as the insurance adjuster, limiting how much their exposure would be.
Right.
These are the kinds of things you obviously would be wary of, you would know about, that a lot of people might understand.
They are cracking down. There's some laws that are being, put into place as far as covering a whole house, a whole siding full wrap, and when only a couple sides are damaged. But some cases, if the corners are damaged, then you have to replace the backside. So there's a whole, there are specifics on it, but you definitely have to fight for it, and it's at the end of the day, it's worth it. So yeah, there's just a lot of different things you have to know.
Well, how does the average consumer have any idea? I mean, they'd have to go up there and get up on the ladder themselves, and then still, okay, well, this little mark, but it's tucked behind the fold, so it could be not covered, or it might be okay.
Yeah.
And let's just go. I mean, what got me was that the guy told me, "Did you feel your siding? You've got the little chalky residue on anything that's over 3 or 5 years old." And the rest of it was brand new, like plastic, the vinyl you get. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh my gosh, I just got, I don't know, $7,000 worth of vinyl that didn't get paid for. These are the kinds of things people don't understand.
Yep, that's exactly what it is. I mean, most of the siding's discontinued, and so you can't get it anymore, and then that's another thing. So you just don't. You always hire a contractor that that's experienced, so you can get everything that's damaged.
How often would you suggest that somebody says, "I want to take on this on myself. I'm a do-it-yourselfer. I can do this myself. I'm going to call the insurance company myself." But by day he's an accountant or something like that. Recommend that or no? Or what's it like? You deal with all sides of that, being somebody who's been.
I mean, you can try, but you're never going to know if you're getting everything you're entitled to. I mean, you won't know. Yeah. So I mean, just let somebody else do it that has been doing it for years, and you'll know for sure, because that's what we do.
Well, that's back to it's like anything else. Why would you take something on yourself that you're not an expert?
I'm not a doctor. I don't do surgery.
There you go. Very well said. So I'm going to see if I can remove my appendix here, because it seems to be bothering me. Right. Good point, though, because how many people, it's kind of the same thing. I mean, at least you're only it's the place that you live in, and it protects all your belongings. But
yep.
How often is somebody, but yeah, would you work on your own body as a doctor? And so many people, that's just not a good idea.
Exactly. That's exactly. Yep.
There you go. There's nothing else to be said. It's just don't do that.
Don't do it.
Bad idea.
Call me.
Well, that's another key to what we're talking about here. Well, tell me, you've told me already you've had some great response from some clients that you've worked with. Tell me a couple stories about people that, it could be somebody you worked with a long time ago, or somebody recently. I think you talked about a young lady. I think she was widowed, and you said, "Hey,
she's widowed.
Let me help you make sure this fits for you."
Roof was old, and she, did not know what to do, and I just felt so good just helping somebody that had no idea, because her husband did everything in the past, and everyone was getting new roofs, and she didn't. She had to trust somebody, and I was a person she trusted, and I helped her out. Helped her out, and she was, she didn't get a lot of money from the insurance carrier, so I did everything in my power to, cover everything, and I did, and I felt really good about it.
Yeah, because sometimes you just say, all right, well, that's a little repair we can't do. We got to cover the deductible, but now we've got other things with the budget you've got. But you came through for her and didn't probably make as much as you could have. But
it wasn't, at that point, something like that's not about the money. It's not always about the money. It's about helping people, and that's just a bonus. And as long as I can provide for myself, and we're good to go.
Well, that's the key. I want to go back to a little bit. What was it like working hurricanes? I know a lot of roofing guys. I don't know any that I know of. Maybe they have, and we just didn't talk about it. That they actually went down and worked a hurricane. Not one, not two, but three. What kind of experience does it allow you to go back down and really compare?
It's first of all, it's devastating when you're 2 days out or a day after the hurricane hit, and houses are just destroyed. The whole streets, everything is destroyed. It's devastating. New Orleans was a big one, and that but you go through it, you learn a lot, and it's all worth it in the end, because you're helping the people that were devastated. It's sad, but someone has to do it, and I'm glad I was there to do it.
Well, tell me, do you get some unique experience with regard to, you're not just talking about one repair on one house, you're talking about a whole row of houses, a whole neighborhood of houses, flooded, wiped out, and then everything has to be done. and then you got to help with the construction, and you got to contract some of that out, I guess, and then you got to go with the roof and sometimes foundation. I mean, how all encompassing was that? Because now it gives you an understanding of the whole picture, I guess. A lot of people will never get. And the first thing I didn't expect you to say when you said you were talking about this, and I said, what was it like working hurricanes? I think you were thinking, man, it's gonna be a lot of work. We're gonna do really well down here and get to help some people.
It's tough,
but do real well. But you said first thing you said was it was devastating.
Yeah.
Because what's that like to see somebody whose house is in there just been wiped out?
Yeah, it's sad. I mean, it's people that spend their whole life, saving up to buy a house, and then they don't know what to do with when hurricane comes. It just, we're there to help. We're there to. That's why we're there. So.
Well, again, if I hadn't known you for so long as a personal friend, so I felt like, all right, Jason's going to be able to cut through a lot of stuff because I've talked to a lot of people. We've had a number of guests, and they all do a great job. They all know what they're talking about. But Jason and I can kind of relate as more of on a friend-to-friend basis here because he and I've been through hanging out and going through our 20s and 30s and 40s. Jason's in his 40s, still his early 40s. Still, I'm just past that.
We're young, man. We're young still.
But yeah, but when I just felt really like it was an opportunity. And the other thing that I thought was I wanted to continue with a little bit was like, when was it you decided to make that leap in your head? You're like, and you told me a little bit about it. Tell me as much as you want to about that. But you're like, here's somebody else who's kind of in control of the situation. I should be getting paid nicely for my work. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute. And then you're like, okay, this might be the opportunity.
Yeah, there was a lot of, back in Florida and these hurricanes, it's working for other companies, large roofing companies, the 10th largest in the country, actually, I worked for. And I was always chasing money. Never knew when I was going to get paid. It was stressful. And after New Orleans, 8 months, 9 months, I'm owed over $500,000. And, it's still in the works. And, you don't know where the money is. You don't know when it's coming. So I'm like, this is ridiculous. I know what I'm doing. I'm going to go back to Missouri and go do what I know. And everyone knows me there. So I just took the leap, and I knew it was going to work out because that's how it works.
There you go. Strong faith and personal belief in himself, everybody, because I can tell you, that's something when you're on that edge and you're going, oh man, I'm going to do this. You have to have a good, confident feeling about I know who to talk to. I know where to get the materials. I know who I can trust. I know what crews I can get. You got 2 crews to work with. You got an employee working with you already, building this thing, taking this thing. You don't like to take on more than you can handle, and you're growing this thing the right way. It sounds like too.
Correct. I don't want to overwhelm myself. I'll have spurts where I get a bunch of jobs, and I'll work night and day to get everything done because I don't want to make people wait like I was waiting. So, I know where everything is. And because I'm the owner, I know, what to do, when to do it, and I know how much I can take on. So, again, I want to give my customers and my clients a personal experience and not have them, fly by night. Hey, this is what it is, boom, boom, boom. And I want to interact with them nonstop. I answer my phone every time somebody calls. I mean, I'm always there. So.
Available 24/7. Anytime you need Jason, he can help you. And I guess the thing that I know is to set you apart. This is when I put the hat on. Say, all right, you're doing good stuff to really help people. That's when we put the cowboy hat on. But as a matter of when I noticed some of the stuff you've been doing, and when it came down to the fact that you've got it on your website. So I'm going to show this for everybody here in just a second. Check out Jason's personal Facebook page, and you can look him up. There he is. Jason Talarski, and he's got I'll put his name tile up so you can see it. But go look him up, and then on the wall over here, I'm going to put his personal Facebook page. But you kind of have a little testimonial / mantra, if you will. Tell me what this is about right here. Through hurricanes, Irma, Ida, and Ian, we learned how to get the job done fast the right way. Boy, that's what I say. That's a lot to take on there.
Yeah, I know the system, how it works. And being down there and working these big, storms, it all made sense. And now I'm here, and it's way easier here than it was down there. So this is cakewalk.
Cakewalk. Well, that's because. Would you feel like that's a little bit because you've got so much control now? You are the one picking up making sure that the materials are paid for and picked up. You're the one who's making sure the jobs are getting finished. You've got all that control now.
Yes. It just. Now that I have control, I do what's right. I know what's right, and I don't have nobody to answer to. I can, tell my clients what they need to hear, not what just they want to hear. So I'm an honest man. So yeah, that's all it's about.
And that's another key to this. When I asked you, where did you come up with the name Trustman Roofing? And tell us a little bit why that came to mind.
Yeah, I like I said, I was screwed over, from not just the one big company, but also public adjusting for a firm in Florida, not getting paid for my work that I've done, and I just I don't trust a lot of people, so everybody can trust me though, and that's what it's all about. It's about trust. There's a lot of roofing companies out there. 20 roofing companies will knock on your door, but who are you going to pick? Not just the one that has the best reviews. You have to really trust somebody, and I build that trust.
There we go. How often is that the case, everybody? That the trust. I go back to that situation I dealt with. The guys that were already on my they parked out in front. I'm like, why is my buddy's car parked here? Because the storm had just come through, and he's like, hey, and I love the guy, and we're buddies still, but. I felt a little weird because their guys were already in. They're on the roof, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we're pretty sure this is going to get covered." I'm like, "What's going on here?" And that's where I didn't have that trust. And I'll never forget. I ran into some of those guys somewhere else, and then they had a little VIP thing going on, and you're not allowed to come in here. I was like, that's all right because I know how you guys. And it's all right. We all go through our little lessons in life, but it was kind of weird. But bottom line is that trust.
Yeah, and honestly, I'll be honest. Even with potential clients, if I get a bad feeling and, I just don't trust them, I won't work with them. And that's just, it's worth it to not take on something that you don't think is right. And it'll save you a lot of, trouble in the future.
Absolutely. So again, back to, we want to help give a voice to the smaller businesses who are out there. You may not have $100 million marketing budget, right? But you do have a good method, a good process, a trustworthy work ethic, and a long background in history. And if I didn't know you personally, we don't often seek to find the guys who just started a business.
Right.
But if you've got a lot of experience, and I know you, and I know the work you do, then I'm like, all right, here's somebody that we definitely
That's the thing. Yeah, sorry to cut you off, but yeah, that's the thing. A lot of roofing companies, you'll see them start, and that person has only been in the roofing industry for 6 months or a year, or they just did it because they know it's a very lucrative business, so they start it. But then they learn as they go. See, I've been doing it for 12 years, so I know not everything, but a lot of things more than most, and so it's more than experience than how long you've been open for.
Well, and that's where I would argue that of all the expertise you could ever expect, number one, somebody who's worked hurricanes. Number two, somebody who's actually is a licensed adjuster, who's worked on the other side of that, how it goes. Then to throw on top of that the experience. Most times, nothing against this, most times you hope that they at least have the experience. But to throw in that kind of experience and having that kind of credentials, that's what I say. I don't know anybody I can think of. Next time we have a tornado come through, I know who to call, right?
Yes,
and I've got a lot of great guys that do great roofing stuff, but it just makes me feel good to understand with the background you bring to it. So a lot of people can.
Yeah. And also, in New Orleans, we did, I was specializing in Ludowici tile, which is the highest end tile in the country, and that's what that's what our company was doing, was those tiles, because not many contractors or roofing companies can do that. So there's only 2 of them in that area that did that. So, and I was doing that, and I learned a lot about the tile. So there's a lot of tile in the near Warshu. So if it ever does,
explain to everybody what is the tile? Is it the shingles that look like they're little ceramic pieces?
Yeah, it's concrete tile. Barrel roll, concrete tile, terracotta, the color, and there's slate tiles too, and there's concrete clay. There's a couple different, there's numerous different kinds of tile, but I specialize in those, and I learned quite a bit and how to get those approved and what insurance adjusters look for on that, the specifics. Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Well, there you go, everybody. That's why you want somebody who has done it for a long time. And then also, it's great to help the guys who are saying, hey, man, I've decided to take the leap and do this myself, because what's it like for new guys? And you need it. If you've got the proven background and special training you've had, the certifications you've got, I'll throw my business all day long to a business owner like yourself who's trying to make it happen. We're all here cheering you on, and
Much appreciated.
Keep up the good work. All right, well, we're going to show a little bit here of Jason's website because he does have lots of good information out there. So here is his website. You can see here, I've got this on the wall for everybody to take a look here. But real easy to read, phone number right there at the top. And I'll go ahead and put that on the screen here for everybody to see too. So trustmanroofing.com. I was surprised that wasn't taken already. But a little bit of the background, a little bit of what you do, and then serving. And here's some shingle, tile, metal, and flat roofing. All of those are going to be important. St. Louis has got each of those. Is that true? And
yes, sir. Yes, sir. I have a lot of resources. Like I said, I've been in the industry for a while, and my reputation is it's good, and people know me. So the crews of each one of those I can acquire. So
yeah, you make sure that you've got the guys that know how to take on the task at hand, because how many often does somebody say, "Hey guys, a flat roof. Ever done a flat roof before?" No, but we'll figure it out. No, you want the flat
I personally, I mean, most here. I don't bash any companies, but a lot of roofing owners, they haven't put on a flat roof themselves or a metal roof themselves. They find the crews to do it. But the thing is, you want to find the best crews, and I have the resources that know where the best crews are, and I know the best crews. So yeah.
Well, with all the experience you've gotten in many years of doing this, yeah, it's important. How often is that the case? Because it's kind of an industry standard. Very few people have employed full-time roofing guys on staff. You have crews that you contract with,
right,
and you've got to have those guys at your beck and call when it's necessary. But you only may have one or two different areas. General roofing, the shingles, I guess, a lot of times, but flat roof, tile. I didn't realize that. Metal roofing's coming around a long way now too, isn't it? They look like the more traditional roofs. They've got the grooves in them instead of just a big flat metal wavy roof like they used to have. You need to have the expertise for any one of those.
Absolutely. Yep. I mean, here, I know quite a bit about each one of them, and if I don't have a good answer, if I don't have the answer, then I'll find it, because I know, the people that do know about it. So.
Very good, and great to see somebody with those resources. So here's the services page for Jason's website, trustmanroofing.com. And again, easy to contact, get a hold of him, and he will make sure, he can show you a lot of his work, look at a lot of his background. He'll share with you the people that he's done work with, so you can talk to them and make sure that everything is in order for you to have a happy, successful roof repair, because we all want that to happen, because we have our whole family there. You don't want to have a roof venting, I know, is an important thing. We're going to talk about this for another half hour, everybody. Jason's agreed to stay for another half hour to chat about this some more, and we're going to cover some more in depth. We've got another 8 questions I'm going to ask him here.
Oh boy, here we go. All right.
But I talked him into hanging out for another half hour. Both of these will air on ABC, or you can watch them on our website, or we give a copy to all of our guests here on the show too. So with that, stay tuned for more, everybody. Giddy up.